given that humans are at so many different levels, um, and we've got positively polarized people and negatively polarized people, but I think a lot of positively polarized people want to fix our problems. They want Earth to feel better, society, all these things. Like, so what do you think is the number one thing we as humanity sort of need to do to fix what's wrong right now?
That, my friend, is a great question. There's many things we could say, right? There's a lot of great things, great areas we could begin focusing to really start improving things. If I had to say, like, how would I summarize the best message I could give humanity? I would say that unity right now is what seems to be awakening in the collective consciousness. And so I think that really teaching people, helping the world understand how important unity is probably the best thing we could be doing right now, because we've been so divided by our world leaders and media outlets that want to control the population. And the best way to control is to first divide, because a united population is a very strong population. You could think of it like a crystal, right? I actually have one right here. A crystal is one element perfectly united. If you look at like the molecular structure of a crystal, it's perfectly balanced.
Out, yeah.
Yes. And that's what makes a crystal strong without effort. That's what makes it conduct light. That's what makes it beautiful to behold. That's what humanity can become, like a living crystal on this planet, if we come together, learn to love one another, learn to not only respect our differences, but love our differences. I love that everyone's not Aaron Abke. What a boring world would it be if everyone was me? I'm so glad there's people of every skin color, every ethnicity, genders, you name it, right? We should be celebrating our differences, which can become a point of unity rather than division. And I think we've seen, the brilliance on behalf of the negatively polarized beings on this planet using our differences to divide us. It can just as easily flip over and become a point of unity if we can see the beauty behind it. So it's not a complicated shift. It just requires us to wake up and see, hey, we're really headed towards our own extinction if we don't start changing the way we see ourselves. And the more people become happy and love themselves and get into that mind-heart coherence, happiness is the I am state, really. It's mind-heart coherence. It actually has a collective effect on the planet, the collective consciousness. And this has been measured, right, by heart math. Even the 9/11, the famous 9/11 graph, where they show the Earth's magnetic field graph, and it has kind of a heartbeat of its own. And on September 11th, it spiked, like 50% higher than it does, because the emotional state of humanity affected the Earth's magnetic field. It's all connected. It's all one. It's really just a reflection of us, right? So if we start loving one another, being kind to one another, and being happy, the Earth's magnetic field is going to become so harmonized and polarized positively that we're just going to watch corruption disappear off the planet, because no one's going to resonate with it anymore. I don't want to support something that harms my fellow man. I love them. So, it's easy to say all that, right? Harder to do it. But I think each one of us stepping into our passion, being authentic, giving value to the world is the number one most important thing. Because as you give value, you get back value. That's the law of attraction. And you make the world a better place. You give people permission to be in their passion, do what they love to do. And that's what's going to create a harmonious world, in my estimation.
Again, very simple and straightforward. It just takes the intent. Like, I'm gonna practice this. I'm gonna live it. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna do my part in this.
Yeah, which is why I'm a very big proponent of social activism, justice, peaceful non-compliance and raising awareness, raising our voice about what we think is unjust. That's all important, absolutely. But what's most important is my own spiritual development, right? What's more important is for me to be happy, for me to be in alignment with who I am, because then I'm actually putting out an energy that's contagious and affecting the whole of humanity. This is why I love David Hawkin's work so much, because when he calibrated the map of consciousness using applied kinesiology and found this map, well, what the map shows is that the progression of consciousness on the positive polarity, he calls it power versus force, positive, negative. Force is like manipulation, deceit, trickery, craftiness, right? That's how the negative path wins and polarizes. They have to trick you into doing something against your own best interest. Well, the positive path is power. So it's like gravity. It's attractive. It pulls everything into itself and makes everything like itself. Love is the perfect example. When you truly feel loved, what does it make you do? You want to love in return. You want to be loving. It transforms you into its image. So power is way, way more attractive, but that's why the negative path has to keep it so divided, because the minute it comes together, it can create so much momentum that the game over, So David Hawkin says that at a 500 out of 1,000 level, that's the level of love. David Hawkin says that when you're in that state of love at a 500 calibration, you are producing so much energy that you are actually, one person at 500 is offsetting the amount of energy being produced by 750,000 people calibrating under 200, or the level of force, which is quite remarkable, right? That's an amazing difference, but it's because those lower levels of consciousness produce such little energy, fear, shame, anger, division, victimization. It's such a low vibration that somebody who's truly calibrating at unconditional love, it takes 750,000 people in those states to produce the same amount of energy as one person. Wow. Who's calibrating at love. So it's like when we know that, it gives us an immediate desire to expand our consciousness, because we know we can have such a profound impact just by our very state of being.
Yeah, that's it gives permission for people to not have to like run out and serve in an active way necessarily, but just like make sure you're you've optimized your own, which, as I'm saying it, like I don't want people to think I'm like forget about everyone else and just be selfish, because I know that's another sort of trap that people can fall into. Yeah, that's cool. The logarithmic scale of all these things becomes apparent.